Good morning, everybody. This is Mr. Simulator. I figured I would do a little bit different video this time. I've always done videos of me just racing and things like that, but I've gotten a lot of questions about the platform and why I made it out of wood and what pieces I was able to purchase. So I figured I'd go over the entire platform, everything from the motors, the gearboxes, the amplifiers I use for the vibrations through the sim experience, um, the new wheel I just purchased, the gears, the sequential shifter, the Club Sport pedals. I'm going to go over kind of like everything, and hopefully it'll answer a lot of questions that you guys may have. And of course, let me know if you do have any in addition, because I'm sure I'm going to forget something. It's been over a year now since I've had it, and it's probably one of the best projects I've ever done. And if anyone's out there contemplating whether they want to do it or not, this is just one of those things that you just got to put your mind to it and get it done. It can be done. There's a lot of information out there, and I'll kind of share some of the people that I've dealt with when I first started with this, and even till today, sharing back some feedback with each other and listening to what other people have done and seeing different ideas. It's all still based on the same Stewart platform, the 6 degree of freedom design here. So let me kind of just start. I originally had a regular platform, and it was just a regular platform, just triple screens, no motion, no anything. I had a little butt kickers under my seat, which worked off my original sound card, and it just took any low vibrations and kind of put that through there, so you felt a little bit of what was going on. There was the force feedback. I had originally a G27 setup, and that worked well over the years, and I even had it on this platform for a while, and I just recently upgraded, and people always said, well, why do you have such a great platform and you only have a G27 wheel? And the main thing was, first of all, I was putting a lot of monies just to build this, and I was waiting to save up additional money to buy the new wheel. The G27, to be honest with you, was still a good wheel and a lot of fun. And I'm going to do a new video on top of this, probably within this video. I mean, if I can figure out how to merge the two. Driving with this new setup, because the force feedback now with the Club Sport V2 wheelbase, I've got the Porsche 918 wheel, the sequential shifter, and the Club Sport V3 pedals. To me, was a great upgrade from what I had. I really, really like it. I'm glad I did it, and it's just making the experience that much more. So, with that being said, first of all, let me just extend my thanks to Thanos, who is the gentleman who really kind of got me going in this and kind of point me in the right direction. There are many, many people who I've worked with over the last year. Fabi, who's also on the forums, he has his own blog. He had a lot of the measurements that I use to basically come up with this platform, because there really is no plan. It's an equilateral triangle, and but there's certain points that he had noted in his drawings, distances from shaft to shaft, how long the actual rods were, how long these control arms were, the distance between the heim joint and here, the distance between these two joints up here. Doing all of that, I was able to come up with the design that you have here. I made it out of wood, which was different than most because my background being carpentry. I figured if they can make a roller coaster out of wood, I should be able to make a platform out of wood, and if it's secured properly and done properly, there shouldn't be an issue. And that's exactly been the case. I haven't had any issues with the wood. You can see here I bolted it to the ground. Here it's all in 6 spots. It's actually bolted to my basement floor, so there's no movement. And that's the reason why I chose wood for the base. Everything here is pretty much off the shelf items. The motors are 1 horsepower motors. They are 3-phase motors. If you notice up on the wall here, I have 2 100 amp circuits, or 100 amp lines I should say, that I ran in. In each box there has a 20 amp breaker for each of the motors. The inverters, which are in this box here, I'll tilt this back, you can see it, there they are. The inverters, I was told, needed a 20 amp circuit for each one. The good news is that when the platform's in motion, I think the most amperage that each one draws is about 5, between 3 and 5. So there's plenty of electricity available to them. I never have any issues tripping. And I figured if I was going to do it, might as well do it right. So it's single phase coming in to the inverter, and then the inverter is 3-phase out to these motors, which are also 3-phase motors. These are 60-to-1 gear ratio gearboxes. They're dual post, which you can see there's a post out the front here, and then there's a post out the back here. Now the 2 parts I had to have made for this, which were not, you can't buy off the shelf, excuse me, is these arms here, which I basically designed and drew, sent it to a local machinist in my area. He actually manufactured these for me, 6 of them. As you can see how they're made. This is an 1 1/8" bore with a keyway. So I had these made, and then the other thing I had made on the other side here are these collars. These are 1 1/8" collar reduced down to 6 millimeters for these sensors. These are held onto the shaft by Allen keys for this side, and additional Allen keys for this side to hold the sensor. And this is the sensor that actually controls the centering of the gearbox. I had to manufacture the braces, which you can kind of see here, to hold those in place. But pretty much everything else is, store-bought purchased, or I should say store-purchased materials. These are steel rods, which these are also manufactured, and these heim joints were welded into each of these here. Now, these are 1¼ inch monster truck heim joints. They're referred to. They're left and right, so they're opposite threads. So as you twist this, it'll extend and contract the length of each of the the rods. They're all equidistant. They're all equal, the same size. The Heim joints that I'm actually using are, these are Teflon. There's a race in here. You can see it, that black Teflon race. These are actually very stiff, but very secure, and there's no give or play. Now they seem tight, and you probably think they're tight when you put it together, but with the strength and the movement and the weight, and there's no issues and there's no play. The first set I had were the kind where it didn't have that race, and there was a little bit of play. I thought you needed them to be really, really loose. And believe it or not, that's what gives a lot of the platform that clanking, that little movement within that ball joint. You hear it. So you definitely want to get the Heim joints with the Teflon race and get a good one, because, you know, platform is moving on those points there. The other piece that had to be manufactured is this upper plate here. It's all out of steel, as you can see. Once again, it's the measurements that you can find on the blog that really kind of tells you and defines what the distance should be, and it kind of tells you from, you know, different point to point, all based on the equilateral triangle. And then on top of that, I had this steel frame mounted and welded to this, which of course holds my wooden platform and holds everything else up above it. So, you know, as for these gearboxes and using these, if someone else had used the same ones, I figured let me use something I knew that works. One thing I did like about these gearboxes, which I didn't even know when I received them, is that there's mounting holes not only on the bottom here to mount them to this plate, which is actually separate. The top of the gearbox is actually the same as the bottom. There's an additional 4 holes on top. So the wood, as you can see, is actually bolted on not only on the top but also on the bottom. So there's no movement at all. And that's the same reason why I bolted these wooden braces from here to here. And there's actually a piece of conduit, steel, from here to here, also supporting it. And I have that all the way around. So there's no movement at all, which is great. And in this corner here, you can see my amplifiers. I've got a total of 7 butt kickers per se on the platform. I've got 1 under my seat. I've got 1 on each corner of my platform, as you can see here and over there. I have 1 that I just recently mounted up here on the gear changer, and I have 1 that I mounted up there, actually under the pedals. So those are Aura bass shakers. The rest of these are actual butt kickers. They all work great. It's all operated through a program called Sim Experience, and that's probably the best thing I've ever done, because it's like everything else. You do it, you feel the motion, you think it's great, and it is. And then once you put the vibrations with that, and you piece together the video, the motion, the vibration, and everything just comes to life. Every bump, every feeling of the road, the impacts, the engine vibrations, the gear shifting. You feel everything. It's basically 7 channels here of the amplifier. These bottom 2 here this controls the front 2 butt kickers. This controls the 2 back ones here. This controls the butt kicker under my seat for engine vibration. This one controls the Aura shaky here up on the gear changer, and then this amplifier here controls the one up on the pedals. And you know, mixing everything and doing everything together, that really makes a big difference. And I took that shelf there, you can kind of see I kind of cantilevered it, so it's kind of sitting and supporting itself, which is a good thing. So no issues in regards to that moving, because that's connected to something here that doesn't move. This is I call it my my harness. All the wires coming off the platform. The spring gives it a little bit of movement. Comes down. That's all the wiring that goes to the platform. The frame. I can't thank Zach over at SimSeats for all he's done for me and work with me with this. I didn't know what I was originally going to put up on top here. I wanted a triple screen mount. I wanted something strong. I wanted something lightweight. And I wanted something that I could make work for me. He was nice enough to make this frame and everything specifically for what I needed. And he's been a great resource, and I thank him for everything he helped me with. Even back here when I got these new pedals. And this is a standard base that they use for the club sports, but you know, he was even nice enough to, I told him my situation, he actually put some bolt mounts in here, which allowed me then to tie my upper frame into the lower frame. And as you can see, these supports are really what make everything here work. Everything's tied to itself. I've got aluminum braces tied here, here, so this is all tied together. The braces are all tied together. This is all 1/2 inch aluminum conduit. I just basically bent it over and drilled it out to make it work. Wrapped it with some 1/2 inch plumbing foam that you'd find over on plumbing pipes. But it's all supported really, really, really well. Here's my 5.1 surround sound, which is actually controlled up here. That's what this unit's for. I've got my gauges, sim projects for my RPMs and my speedometer. The fuel gauge is new, and the oil pressure gauge is new. I'm also going to be probably putting up here a GI Max a gear indicator, tell me what gear I'm in. I can see it here on the wheel, but it'll be red. It's much more in your face. This gear changer, I mean, this is like driving a car. It's solid. It's great. Works really well. Paddle shifters on this wheel work really, really well. Really nothing else I can really say. The computer was something that I always had when I built it for the original platform. There's 2 NVIDIA SLI, I think they're 780s, I think. You know, it's been a while since I built a computer, and I apologize for not having the info, but the computer was built specifically for the platform, and it works well. It's direct connection, obviously, to the internet. iRacing and Project Cars are the 2 car programs I really work with, and even though it's a flight simulator, I think I've used that maybe 2 times. The racing is actually so immersive. It's great. It's just an incredible feel. And anyone who's thinking about doing a project like this, I wouldn't even, you know, don't think that it's going to be something that you can't do. You know, I built this whole thing not knowing what would happen at the end, honestly. I just knew I had a little model of it. I built off some plans that you can find on the internet, and I knew if that worked, that if you made it bigger, it would do the same thing. And other people have done it, so we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just kind of maybe putting a different twist on how to make it. I wanted to make it look nice. It's in my house, it's in my basement, so I wanted it to look somewhat finished. As finished as something like this could look, and I think I'm to the point now where I'm very, very happy with the final product. So if you guys have any questions or anything, or if I didn't cover the entire thing, I think I did, but if I didn't or anything, just let me know.